Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about some of the frequently asked questions and concerns I get. I made a little story post on my TikTok asking people what they wanted me to go over, and they did not disappoint. I got tons and tons of feedback. Not enough time to go over everything in this one video, but I'm going to talk about the most frequent ones I get, and then there's a few that are going to deserve their own huge whopping video, so we'll get to those at a different time. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos. Oh, and a quick little self promo, eat meat and question everything. That's my motto. I got it on a shirt and I got it on a mug. I had some people that were interested, so I made it available for anyone else to purchase. So I'll put the link below if you want to grab one for yourself. And yours will look nicer than this. I already have grease stains all over. And we also have crop hoodies, tank tops, and mugs. So let's dive right in. I wrote some questions down on the back of an In-N-Out receipt. Okay, so one of the ones I got was, what does your doctor say? What does he think? Well, I didn't run this by him. I mean, I don't know if is that something like people do? Like you change up your diet a little bit and just ask your doctor, because doctors aren't really knowledgeable in nutrition. I mean, it's very, very minimal. Unless you're diving into it on your own, they're not going to know much. I mean, think about it. When you go to the doctor, you go because something's wrong and they're not even really getting to the root of the issue. They want to give you a prescription. They want to put a Band-Aid on it. So I didn't even take that into consideration. Didn't even cross my mind to wonder what my doctor would say about it. There are, though, tons of doctors in the carnivore community. There's registered nurses, there's dietitians, there's nutritionists. So, I mean, I feel like there's going to be, on any sort of topic, there's going to be people on both sides. So I also take into account how I'm feeling and how other people are doing. I mean, that matters. We can't totally dismiss, people's experiences on things. So that is my thoughts on that. The next one, why do you always have beef, and are you allowed any seasonings besides salt? Beef is ideal. I feel like that's gonna be the best bet. If you are shopping and concerned about where your meat's coming from and you don't want to eat conventional, it's really easy to find grass-fed, grass-finished beef, also from a regenerative farm. It is much more difficult to find pigs that aren't fed corn and soy. Fish, I mean, our waters are polluted. So while I do eat that stuff, they're just not as ideal as beef. Beef is going to be very fatty. It has essentially all the micronutrients you need. So that is going to be the best choice. As far as seasonings, a lot of people in the carnivore community do use seasonings. But my thoughts are, if I'm giving up plants, then I'm not going to season my food with plants. So I'm just using salt. I think everything's delicious. I've mentioned this before, but it's kind of like if you hear how a smoker quits smoking and all of a sudden their mouth changes, their taste buds change. They say everything tastes more alive and delicious. That's how I feel right now. I don't need to be covering up a delicious steak with garlic and onions. And this is coming from somebody I used to cook for a living. I cooked for very rich people on their very fancy yachts. I used to make very fancy, delicious gourmet food. And so it is weird right now to not be using all those added seasonings and making full-on gnarly recipes with garlic and onion and just plants and everything. But everything just tastes very delicious to me right now. People comment a lot that I'm going to get scurvy. I'm not a pirate. I am not eating dried meat. I am eating plenty of fresh meat, and fresh meat does have vitamin C in it. It has enough vitamin C to ward off scurvy. I should have looked this up before, but I want to say about a pound, maybe just a pound. It's either a pound or a pound and a half of conventional meat, and then even less for grass-fed, grass-finished is what you would need a day to ward off scurvy. And that is just beef, oysters. There's other stuff that has more vitamin C in it. I feel like I could go into that a little bit more deeper. Maybe we'll do another video, but the short answer is no, I'm not worried about scurvy. Next one, do you have cravings for other food? I don't. I will say when I'm cutting up my kids' fruit, I'm like, oh, that would taste good. But I did my little run with fruit. It wasn't working for me. I may add it in once I'm at my goal weight. But no, right now, I mean, the fat and the salt, that is what is doing it. The high protein too, but I hear people say if you're having cravings, have more fat and have salt. So I'm really not having cravings. I've been to 2 different parties in the last few weeks, and they've had like all the things, all the different yummy foods. They've had cake, and there was just no desire to eat it. I even told myself like, oh, you could have a piece of cake if that's what you want. Like, and it was just, I'm fine. I'm good without it, which is mind blowing to me, coming from like being a total yo-yo dieter, emotional eating, so I finally have that food freedom, which is awesome. The next one is, how do you deal with all the rude comments? Sometimes I don't deal with it very well. Honestly, sometimes these comments make me cry. It gets to be a little much. The majority of the rude comments are on TikTok, and they are ruthless. I get probably 1,000 comments a day. I can't even read them all, but what I do read, yeah, it's not so nice. So I'm working on not even like responding to a lot of them, because it's just, it snowballs. It's, and then it's just more and more and more. They're not gonna, listen to what I have to say. I just find that they're not really making these comments and asking questions to have a genuine conversation. They seem to be, they've already made up their mind. So it's pointless to argue with anybody that doesn't really want to hear you out. And now I have, a good handful of people that also eat this way that are there. So they also chime in and answer questions, or they'll do like all the arguing or all the arguing for me. So that's nice too. I get a ton of questions about my kids if they're eating this way, and a lot of rude comments. Like, nothing brings out Mama Bear more than reading something that says, oh my gosh, you make your kids eat this way? I'm calling CPS. Like, oh my goodness. First of all, they don't eat this way. And second of all, if they did, there's nothing wrong with that. This is a very nutritious way to be eating. They are little, they are 2 and 4. They actually love their fruits and veggies, and I can't trust that they're gonna be eating enough meat to be getting all they need. So right now, this is what's great for them. They eat their fruits and veggies. We try to be very minimal on sugar, and we don't do seed oils. So we do try to be very mindful about what they're getting. But they're still having things here and there, like they had mac and cheese last night, and my kid had cake at the quinceanera we were at last week. So they're still kids, but this one, this question, the way it's worded most of the times, really grinds my gears. Okay, and the cholesterol concerns. When I get mine done, I will gladly share the results. Everyone I know that eats this way or is on keto, like everyone has great lab results. So I am not concerned. And I feel like this could use its own video too. I'm still learning a lot about it, so I don't know the answers to all of it, but cholesterol is so much more than just like the number. Like your HDL, which is the good cholesterol, can be high, but your low cholesterol or the LDL is low. Like sometimes it comes into play with whatever that range is. And then you also want to look at your triglycerides, and you can also dive deeper and test more about the cholesterol and find out like the particle size. So there's so much involved to this. It's not just a blanket cholesterol number. So I'm going to do more research, and then I'll talk more about it. But no, I'm not concerned about my cholesterol levels. Okay, a lot of people are saying like the social aspect of things. I haven't had any issues. I'm a homebody anyways, so I don't go out that much now, especially now that I'm not drinking. Well, I haven't drank in a year. I used to love to go out and eat and drink, but ever since I don't drink anymore, it's kind of different going out to eat, because they usually go hand in hand. And eating this way, I find, everything's so expensive. I can make it at home for just as delicious and for a lot cheaper. As far as like events and stuff, like I said about the cake, like we went to a few different parties this week, and usually there's a meat option. So there's been nothing weird about, me not eating any of the vegetables or whatever. I just eat meat, and it is what it is. And I'm sure there's seasoning on them, and I don't usually eat that way, but it just depends on how picky you are and how you know, how serious you want to be about those things. I don't use seasonings at home, but if it happens when I'm out, then it is what it is. And the last one, okay, I didn't want to ignore this one because I get this every single day, multiple times a day, is the carbon footprint, the greenhouse gases, the environmental impact. So let me just say, I see that question. I hear you. I see you. That, I mean, that could be a whole other video itself. Like, there's just so much that goes into it. There's not a simple answer. So we are going to do that one separate, but I didn't want anyone to be like, I'm avoiding this question, because I see it and I hear your concern, but I don't think it's a concern like everybody thinks. So we'll dive into that at a different time. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe, ring that bell. I will have links in the description below if you want to get this shirt, if you want to find me on all the other social channels. I also have a grocery list for carnivore staples. And yeah, just reach out to me if you have any questions or if I can help in any way. And I appreciate you all for being here.